Alright, so today we have a question from Randy Hayes. He says, can you tell me how to use the aux mic input on the back of this camera? I connect a mic to it, but I cannot get audio. So there's the aux port right there. So we'll go ahead and test this out with the Mayono mic. I've done some reviews on this microphone before. If you haven't seen it, it's a pretty inexpensive microphone that works pretty good for these YouTube videos and whatnot. Very inexpensive, and it does a pretty good job. So check out that video if you haven't seen it. But anyway, so he's plugging this thing in to his aux port. So you can see here I'm tapping and nothing's happening. So how do you fix this problem? Okay, so let me show you. It's pretty simple. And I thought I would do a video on this because honestly, when I first got, not this camera, but when I had the 170U, I wasn't really quite sure how this worked either. And I just kind of gave up on it because most of my mics anyway were XLR, so it didn't really matter to me much. But it is a very good question because sometimes you don't have XLR mic. I do have lots of 3.5 millimeter mics, just like the Mayono that I'm using right now. So how do you use this? Basically, all you need to do is you probably have yours set like this, where it's channel 1 is going to input 1, channel 2 is going to input 2. That's how most people set it. What you're going to need to do is set it to internal. So you can set both of them to internal. Actually, it doesn't really seem to make much of a difference. But once you, or actually you don't have to. I mean, you could set 2 to input 2 if you had like a shotgun mic and you were using the 3.5 millimeter. You could just set channel 1 to be internal. And once you set it to internal, the camera is actually smart enough to know that, okay, once you set it to internal, that means either you're going to use the onboard mic or you're going to use 3.5 millimeter mic, which is the auxiliary port. All right, so here I am in the menu. And if you go to AV set and you go to audio set now, you will see that because I have it set to internal on channel 1, it is now saying that the auxiliary port is set to the left channel. And if we look here at the meters, you can see now that the meters are actually starting to move too. It's just that they're turned down, or they're not turned down. The mic is on the ground. So now I got the mic to my mouth and you can see that the meters are now moving. And that is because I have the thing set to internal. And you notice that channel 2 is not moving because channel 2 right now is set to input 2 and there's no mic on the camera plugged into the XLR for input 2, so nothing is happening. So that's just kind of further proof that it is using the microphone. And I'm just gonna quickly tap this microphone so you can see that it's the microphone and not the internal camera microphone that is picking up the sound. So if you want to go a step further, you can come in here and go to AV set and say, okay, well, you know, maybe you don't have a shotgun mic, so you can set input 2. And the way you would do this is you would go to your XLR handle and you set channel 2 to input 2. So now they're both internal, and now you have what's going into that microphone going to the left and the right channel at the same time. And again, I'll show you that right now. Right now I'm talking into the mic and you can see that both are moving because you have the left and the right from this microphone going into both channels. So you could do it that way, or you can go back in there and go a step further. And you could say, okay, well, I don't want channel 2 to be the microphone. I'd rather it be the internal microphone. And you can set it to the internal mic right. So now, if we look, you'll see that the top is louder because that microphone is right by my mouth. And the channel 2 is using the internal microphone on the camera. So there's 2 ways you can do it. So I also want to mention, if you have a microphone hooked up through the auxiliary port, and you know you have channel 1 and channel 2 both set to internal because you want to record that particular stereo microphone to the left and the right channels, then you can only use channel 1 to control the levels. channel 2 has no effect. So if you had it configured the way I have it configured right now, where channel 1 is at 10, channel 2 is at like 5 or so, because you wanted to create like kind of a safety track, basically a track that is slightly lower in level than your primary track, you can't do that. It's going to have the same exact levels on both. So the left and right are going to be the same exact thing. And you can kind of see that happening in the meters right now. And of course, what I'm talking about, this is for when you have it set to manual, of course, because if you don't have it set to manual, then these have no effect. The camera is determining what the levels are going to be automatically. But when you have it set to manual, channel 1 is what controls it. Hopefully you found that helpful. If you did, please go ahead and like the video. Subscribe to my channel for more videos just like this, tips and tricks, tutorials, and everything under the sun. I'm Mike Turner. Thanks for watching, and I guess I'll see you soon.